today, going back to what is it that I'm going to share with you. So as we stand right now, we are in this kind of mini crisis or potential crisis. So I'm seeing a lot of people getting laid off, losing their jobs and so forth. So the idea would be for me to actually to share with you some alternatives that you should actually be considering, and those are mostly around consulting. Okay, so consulting is in high demand. Okay, and there are some specific roles or positions, or within the consultancy industry as a whole, there are certain type of consulting that is really high in demand and that they are well paid. Okay, so with that said, if you ever consider consultancy as a career, and you may have wondering what is it that you need to do, what is it that you need to study, how much can you actually earn, and so forth, I will break it down to you. Okay, so I've been working on consulting since 2012 in connection to consulting in some of the biggest consulting companies out there. Okay, so we are speaking of Accenture, Deloitte, Capgemini, IBM, just to name a few. Okay, with that said, what is it that I'm going to be giving to you today? So I'll be sharing that the highest and more in demand, the top 5 more in demand type of consultancies that you have out there, how much that you can actually expect to earn. Okay, and then also I'm going to be then breaking down what is it that you need to do in order actually to get the job. Okay, with that said, don't go anywhere, stick around, just subscribe, hit the notification bell, and join me on this journey. Let's start with the first one. Okay, let's go into this one. So we are talking about high-paid consultancy jobs. So the question that you may have is what is it that you actually need to get the job? Okay, so with that said, I'm going to be sharing my experience. Okay, and if you have any other topics that you believe that would make sense for you actually to get that position, please feel free to share on the comments below. I'll be happy to reply to you and even exchange or learn from you as well. Okay, with that said, on my end, so I've been working on consultancy and in connection to consultancy for roughly 10 years now, and what is it that I've learned with this, and how is it I could actually fast track my position? Okay, so I'll say that you need to take a look into 4 main things. Okay, one is the graduation. Then the other point is, should you actually have an MBA or should you not have an MBA? And then lastly, certifications. Okay, those I would say that are the 4 main points that you need to take a look at. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is I will break it down on what is it that you should be looking if you have an MBA, if you don't have an MBA, and also meaning with regards to the certifications. But prior to all of that, let's start with the type of graduation that you should actually have. Okay, so let's go into this. So technically speaking, if you are a consultant with a bachelor's degrees on finance, on marketing, operations, engineering as well, you are already with an edge, let's say, because you are more connected to maths or finance or business. Okay, that will give you an edge. Okay, but on top of that, what is it that you should be actually looking at? Okay, so if you have over 5 years experience providing certain services, it's almost certain that you're gonna get into a Fortune 500 company. That's my case. For instance, I'm working at one, so IQVIA, where I'm working at as an associate director, is within the top 500 companies on Fortune 500. Okay, with that said, what is it that you actually should take a look at? That even on your own, you can actually get tons of deals and business around consultancy. So that is one thing that you should actually be mindful of. Looking into the MBA, is it that is an absolute requirement for you actually to get a well-paid consultancy job? I would say no. Okay, there are a few things that you need to take a look if you have an MBA, and another ones if you don't. Okay, let's start without the MBA. What is it that you should actually be looking to consider? Okay, if you don't have an MBA and if you are actually at the entry level career, then it will be difficult for you to actually to get to that position. But if you already have some experience, an MBA per se will not make a big of a difference, okay? But nevertheless, without an MBA, I would say that you need to be really focused on a certain set of skill sets, being much more customer centric, or you are working on a specific niche that does not have, meaning sufficient people has a lot of demand, so you can actually get into the position without an MBA, okay? But then if you have an MBA as well, what studies say is that if you're coming from a business school, most likely going to have roughly 140% more probability of actually getting such a position on as a consultant in a well-paid area, okay? But this is not actually per se the norm, okay? This is not like a mathematics equation, so you're gonna get that, of course, you're gonna get the edge, but then let me put it like this: if you're going to be working on a specific industry, or for instance, if you invest on certifications, it's possible that you actually don't need an MBA, but I'm going to get into that in a second. Just closing the MBA part, okay? The MBA does give you some advantages. For instance, if you are entering level, most likely you're going to get the position, or you're going to be coming on front of others that do not have an MBA. Also, the MBA allows for you, or depending on the school that you were, but allows for you to have actually already a very strong network of people that can then leverage that to get a good position in terms of consulting, and well-paid one, okay? But then there's another point that is also important for you to take a look at, that is certifications, okay? So I will be giving my own example. So I did not took the MBA. I had that idea, but at the end, between the investment that was needed and the return, my decision was not to go for that, but actually go and take some certifications. So I took certifications on Salesforce. So as I stand, I took 6 certifications plus another one on DevOps, and I can say to you, my friends, that I do not regret at all, okay? But that's related to the fact that I'm working actually as a tech consultant, okay? But then, for instance, you can also take certifications on Workday, on business intelligence, on data science, and that will allow for you to actually to work like on 3-4 months to get the certification, and then it will give you an edge in terms of the market, okay? While, for instance, you're going to go for an MBA, you are looking at 2 years, or if you're going to go into a specific course around data science as well, okay? With that said, that will be my advice with regards to this one. Let's go for the next one. Okay, let's go into this one. So what is it that you actually do as a consultant, and specifically looking into this 5 different types of consultant jobs? What is it that is expected for you to do? So I'm going to give you a high level definition of the 5 so that you actually have a better understanding, and then we're going to be closing then with money, okay, for you to understand how much can you actually earn. Okay, with that said, let's start with the first one, looking into strategy consultant. What is it that is expected for you to do? Okay, so essentially, as a strategy consultant, a business consultant slash, it's expected for you to provide advice regarding how business can actually adapt their general sense of strategy towards growth, okay? And also it's expected for you, for instance, to advise on how to actually penetrate on the new market, or how to plan some growth, a relocation, etc. So it's heavily around that. You can actually work very closely to the definition of pricing, market differentiation, meaning really close to marketing per se, as an example, okay? As a tech consultant, what is it that is expected for you to do? So as we stand right now, tech consultants are one of the most in-demand type of consultancies out there, okay? And it's even more clear due to the all effort that is actually happening in terms of digital transformation, okay? So essentially, it's expected for you to actually to take a look into technology and into business, and looking into the business challenges, and actually come up with solutions that are based on some sort of technology that can help them to solve
the business challenge. Okay, then it's also of course expected for you to actually to work on such things as, for instance, operational efficiency. How is it that I can increase profits? It's also expected that sometimes, on not all the time, but it's expected for you to actually up to a certain point have a certain knowledge of different types of varieties of technology, and then that can include data science, that can include, for instance, a visualization if you're working on that field. For instance, if you're working within the CRM industry, for instance, it can be expected for you actually to learn different types or understand different types of CRM solutions out there, or even if you're working on the marketing space, that you can actually understand the different types of marketing automation platforms that you have out there and digital marketing solutions that you actually have out there as an expected situation, let's say. So moving forward, going to the next one, looking into the financial side of things. Okay, so as a financial consultant, the expectation is for you to actually talk about risk management, to talk about taxes, and all the things concern money. Okay, is it I would say an exciting area? It's not for me, but of course, I'm guessing I do have friends that work as financial consultants, and they are doing quite well. And of course, you need to actually like the area. Okay, but with that said, in most cases, financial consultants actually fall under, let's say, big audit firms. They are normally quite connected to that. They use a X combination of data, domain and industry expertise, and based on that, they actually most of the times actually do research to propose more effective financial plans for the clients. Okay, that's what is the expectation around this specific job around financial consulting. Okay, then last but not least, two more. Okay, so sustainability consultants and management consultants. Okay, looking into sustainability consultant, this is something that is really dear to my heart because my partner actually works on this area, so I do get a lot of expertise and knowledge for free, let's put it like that, around sustainability consultants. Okay, this is one of the areas that is really most in demand because we do not have a planet B. Okay, so we need really to get our things together and be smart on the way actually look at our planet and the way actually use things out there. Okay, but nevertheless, what is it that is expected for you to actually to do? Okay, you should be expected actually to work closely with clients to actually help them measure and improve the way they actually look at sustainability. If you're working on the construction area, most likely going to be working with energy, the design of the building. You're going to be working with water. You're going to be working with the different materials that are part of that specific building. Okay, without a doubt, this is one of the areas that is really more and more in demand. Okay. Moving forward, management consultant. This is one of, let's say, one of the oldest, let's say, branches of consultancy. It's expected for you to actually to work with a business in order to improve their performance throughout expert advice, in terms of solve problems and encourage growth. Okay, normally speaking, people that actually work on this on management consultant, they do a lot of PowerPoints, let's say, a lot of presentations, while for instance you as a tech consultant, you can also work on the strategy side of things, like looking into how is it that I can build let's say the architectural landscape from a technological perspective, but also you can take a look into the marketing side of things. How is it that I can build the best possible marketing platform? While that is also quite close to management consultants, then you have the other part that is around implementation. Okay, operational than consultancy. Okay, when you implement projects. Okay, here there is a tendency on the management consultant for you to work across a different wide range of sectors, business strategy, finance as well, up to a certain point, marketing, etc. Is it that you should be actually look at an expert up to a certain point in time and you are at the beginning of your trip? Most likely not, but then of course you can always relate to more senior consultants that can actually help help you throughout the journey. I would say that the biggest differences between all of those different types of consultancy is that some of them do require for you to be a bit more high on expertise, like for instance tech consulting or even sustainability consultant, while for instance management consultants are more broad and more wide. Okay, with that said, I'm gonna close this one, take a look, and let's talk about money on the next and close the topic. Okay, stick around, don't go anywhere.
Okay, let's talk money then. Okay, so I'll give you then the breakdown of how much should we actually expect to get in average across this different type of consulting, from business consultants, tech consulting, management consulting, etc. And I'll give you this breakdown across 3 different countries. Okay, so we'll be talking about Spain, Belgium, and US. Why those 3? Essentially because those are the ones that I get more visits from. Okay, but if you are actually living in a different geography, or if you are actually considering going to another one, yeah, just drop it on the comments below. I'll be happy to help you. I'm working at the global level, okay, and I most likely can actually give you some pointers with regards to that. Or even if anyone actually that is watching the video can share, that will be even more exciting and brilliant. Okay, with that said, let's go into the first one. So let's start with the first one, that is around strategy or business consulting, and let's start with Spain. Okay, so if you are in Spain, you should be expecting to get roughly around 31,000, 32,000 in terms of average. Okay, if you're gonna move into the US, 79, 80,000 US dollars, and this we are talking yearly values. And then if you're gonna go to Belgium, it's roughly around 48,000 euros, okay, yearly. Okay, then moving on, financial consulting is one of the most in demand as well. So starting with Spain, US, and Belgium then. So 35 to 36,000 euros in Spain, 67,000 US dollars in average that you're gonna get in the US. And then Belgium, you should expect to get roughly around 40,000 in average, okay, euros, that is. Okay, moving towards one of the most, I will not call it in demand, but highest paid for sure, and that is management consulting. Okay, so here, looking to Spain, US, and Belgium as well. So first one, in Spain you should be expecting to get around 44 to 45,000 euros in average. Okay, then if we move to the US, then we are already above the 6 figures, so it's roughly around 103,000 104,000 in average US dollars if you're working on as a management consultant. And then if you go into Belgium, so you should expect between 47 to 50,000 yearly in average, okay, talking euros of course. And then if you're going to move into one of the most in demand and also well paid consulting industries, let's say, and that is tech consulting. This is where I'm actually working at. So you are looking at Spain. So in Spain, it's roughly around 41 to 42,000 euros in average. Then US, roughly around, again, over the 6 digits, so 100,000 in average, or a bit more. And then in Belgium, you should expect roughly around 35,000, okay, in average, and here we are talking euros, of course. Okay, with that said, just waiting for the train to pass. We'll wait for that just to give it a breakdown. Okay, those are the privileges of actually working outside. Okay, so moving on. So to close, so Belgium, I was saying in tech consulting, roughly around 35,000. That should be the expectation for Belgium in average. And then to close, one of the most in-demand areas out there, and this is really easy to explain why we do not have a planet B. So here we are talking about sustainability consultants, really high in demand. I know what I'm talking. My partner, she's working as a sustainability consultant, and she gets a lot of demand, and also people constantly calling her to new jobs. Okay, with that said, so Spain, 36,000 in average in terms of euros yearly, of course. US, 71,000, okay, 72,000 in average US dollars. And then to close, we have Belgium, that's roughly around the 47,000 euros in terms of in average in Belgium. Okay, with that said, what are the most in demand areas? Looking into all of those, of course tech consulting is one, sustainability consultant is another one. You still get a lot of demand from management consulting, that's for sure. And then financial consulting is still strong, of course, and then business consulting, of course, as well. So those are really the ones that I would highly advise for you to actually to take a look at. So to close, just give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and join me on this journey. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, just drop them on the below. And if you have anything else that you like to share with me, I'm easy to reach out to. Feel free to do so. And if you think otherwise, if there are any other consulting industries out there that we should actually be looking at, just drop that on the comments below. I'm quite keen on hearing you out. Okay, with that said, I'm going. Okay, take care. Cheers. Enjoy. Bye-bye. Take care.